people like Nicki Minaj, I have to say this. You have a platform, sister, that is 22 million followers. Okay, I have 2 million followers. You have 22 million followers on Twitter. For you to use your platform to encourage our community to not protect themselves and save their lives, my God, sister, you could do better than that. You got that platform. It's a blessing. It's a blessing that you got that people listen to you. And they listen to you more than they listen to me. For you to use your platform to put people in the position of dying from a disease they don't have to die from, oh, my God. As a fan, as a hip-hop fan, as somebody who is your fan, I'm so sad that you did that.
Hi again, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in New York. That was our friend and colleague Joy Reid last night calling out vaccine disinformation being spread by the popular, iconic recording artist Nicki Minaj. Because when we know that 1 in 4 hospitals in the United States right now are reporting that 95% of their ICU beds are full, when we know that the 3 vaccines in use in this country are collectively 86% effective at preventing any hospitalization at all from COVID, when we know that you're 11 times more likely to die from COVID if you get it and you are unvaccinated, when you know all that, when an iconic performer like Nicki Minaj raises doubts about the safety of the vaccine that could save you from dying, the statements have to be challenged no matter who says them. Minaj tweeted about last night's Met Gala because attendees were required to be vaccinated. She said if she gets vaccinated, it will be, quote, after she's done enough research. She then tweeted an unproven claim about a specific vaccine side effect with an anecdotal account from her cousin's friend about swelling. Minaj is an extremely popular celebrity. Her words have a lot of weight. You heard it there from Joy, 22 million followers. So spreading disinformation about something that is proven to save lives is alarming, potentially dangerous. The proof of just how dangerous her comments were? Look no further than this on Fox News. Tucker Carlson, who has touted conspiracy theories and lies about vaccines for many, many months, made sure to prominently highlight Minaj's tweets on his program last night with a chyron for the ages. It brings us to another right-wing purveyor of COVID disinformation, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis, who has banned mask mandates in Florida schools, even as children in Florida and teachers in Florida are getting sick, even dying, yesterday did not use his platform to correct disinformation about vaccines at his own press conference. He stood there quietly for once, as a city employee stated incorrectly that the vaccine changes a person's RNA. And now the governor's threatening local governments that impose vaccine mandates. NBC News reports, quote, DeSantis said Monday that his state would fine the local government $5,000 for each employee that is forced to get a vaccine in order to continue to work. The threat stems from a law DeSantis signed in May that bans governmental entities in Florida from requiring proof of vaccination or post-infection recovery to gain access to, entry upon, or service from their operations. According to his office, the state will start enforcing this law Thursday. The immense politicization of something we know protects people from dying is worrying the medical community. Washington Post reports this, quote, Republicans' sweeping denunciations of President Biden's plan to force more people to get vaccinated against the coronavirus are raising concerns among public health experts that this heated criticism could help fuel a broader rejection of other vaccine requirements, including those put in place by schools and the military, as the issue of inoculations becomes increasingly political. Spreaders of disinformation standing in the way of saving and protecting American lives is where we start this hour with some of our favorite reporters and friends. Yamiche Alcindor's here, White House correspondent for PBS NewsHour, moderator of Washington Week. Also joining us, Charlie Sykes, who was, should we say, in the room where it happened, editor-at-large for The Bulwark. And Dr. Uche Blackstock is here, founder and CEO of Advancing Health. Lucky for us, all 3 MSNBC contributors. Dr. Blackstock, I start with you. I saw my colleague Joy Reid, saw the tweets. There's now a Boris Johnson tangent that we're not going to follow out the window. But I wonder if you can just speak to the damage that someone iconic like Nicki Minaj does by tweeting something like what she tweeted.
Right. And so, the issue is that she has this very large platform. She is influential. We have a celebrity worship culture. And while I don't think her intent was malicious at all, she has to be incredibly careful about putting out inaccurate information about COVID and COVID vaccine, especially in this time where we're having such difficulty vaccinating the other half of the U.S. population, that even, a tweet about her cousin's friends becoming impotent with the vaccine can cause significant harm, but it's completely unfounded. But we have people who would rather listen to a celebrity than listen to medical and public health professionals. And that's where we run into a serious problem.
And I was looking on, any sort of drug ad has all those side effects. Is impotence or swelling listed as a side effect of any of the 3 vaccines in use in the United States of America?
Nicole, no. And this is the problem. I think that we can do a better job. The CDC can do a better job with communicating health information to the public. I think this is an area that has needed a lot of work, especially since the beginning and even probably before the pandemic. But it should be clear to people, we have enough data now showing that the vaccine does not influence fertility of anyone, men, women, people. It doesn't. And what we know is that COVID, the virus itself and the disease it causes, is more likely to cause impotence and more likely to harm pregnant people. And so that's where we need to be clear of the effects of the virus are much more harmful than the effects of the vaccine. But apparently we have not been able to communicate that clearly to a large segment of the population.
I wish that you could get on the phone with Nicki Minaj's friend's cousin's fiance or whoever it was and tell him that, because it seemed like he was bummed and then Nicki Minaj isn't getting vaccinated because of it. Would you be willing to talk to her or anybody else, Dr. Blackstock?
Absolutely. Yes. And I actually responded to her tweet that I would be very, very happy to sit down on her terms, on her radio show. Nicki, I would love to talk to you about questions and concerns that you have about this vaccine. I want to take this moment not to vilify anyone. This is a learning opportunity. I want to be able to answer the questions and concerns that Nicki and I'm sure many of her fans have about COVID and the vaccine.
Nicki Minaj, you have a seat at the table with Dr. Blackstock. Charlie, I thought Joy did anything but vilify Nicki Minaj, and I think they're on I think Nicki Minaj felt sensitive for some reason to this criticism of not using her platform to save people. You got dragged as a, sideswipe. Your thoughts?
I was just sitting there. I was collateral damage and all of that. But, credit to Joy Reid for making an appeal to her not to put out this kind of disinformation. And what you highlighted, I think, in the introduction of this, is that there are multiple vectors of disinformation, stupidity, and cynicism. It's coming from politicians, it's coming from media personalities, and it's coming from pop culture figures. And the damage is really very, very real. And we do need to push back against it. And I think we do need to call out the people who have an audience of 22 million people who do not understand the difference between correlation and causation. Look, the fact is that when you have 22 million followers and you tweet out that your cousin's friend's testicles became swollen and he became impotent after he took the coronavirus, well, that's going to alarm some people. And for Tucker Carlson to read that on the air, to take that seriously, this is the height of cynicism and hypocrisy, because that he would never quote Nicki Minaj in any other context. That he doesn't believe it. That he's been vaccinated himself. He knows that correlation is not causation in this particular case, and yet he pushes it out. And you have the governor of the state of Florida who stands next to somebody who is putting out absolutely false information. Look, it's one thing to talk about opposition to vaccine mandates on principle, or to talk about freedom. Now, I support the mandates, but I understand the arguments. Unfortunately, this has also been linked to this very, very, I think, reckless undermining of the whole idea of the vaccines. And I think that's what's indefensible. That's what's indefensible right now. That it would be great if we could argue about this as a matter of principle, but it is the hypocrisy and the cynicism that's so galling and dangerous.